What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII getting a PS5 edition this upcoming year, actually very, very soon, but based off of this leak. So I want to go over where this leak came from. I want to read it. We're only going to focus, because there's other things in this leak, and I do want to talk about one specific one in a separate video, but we're going to focus on the Final Fantasy VII aspect and talk about it, and also talk a little bit about what I think is also coming, because I do think there's more stuff than just a PS5 edition, which they kind of hint at, but they don't go too far in. So this comes from PlayStation Universe, okay, and the leak comes from Reset Era, and it comes from Navtra, who they say has a pretty solid track record. I don't know the person. I'm not on Reset Era. In fact, I don't think they allow me on Reset Era, which is actually kind of funny, but they posted and they said Square announcements are piling up. We're getting 14's next expansion reveal next month, and Final Fantasy VII's Remake PS5 and Life is Strange 3 should be soon after. So I want to talk about Life is Strange 3 in a separate video. That'll be, I think, tomorrow on my main channel. Thing is, talking when is tricky due to the current circumstances. Games that were targeting this quarter for release as late as last summer didn't even get trailers since, so I can never be too sure when something is announced/released. With that being said, I believe we're getting these announcements sometime in February. I just can't be 100% sure about it. So I do think, well, look, we're approaching 1 year. So Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I believe they came out last April, right? So we're approaching a year of the game being out. And also with that year, we are approaching something else, not just a PS5, I think, edition, but also it not being PlayStation exclusive anymore. Remember, the agreement was 1 year. And that seemingly is also going to be the deal with Final Fantasy 16, that game will be at least 1 year. I think Project Athia, they said, could be 2 years would be PlayStation exclusive. So they're going kind of all in the Square Enix, like Sony and Square Enix obviously have a really nice relationship there, but I think that they're going to kind of go hand in hand. I can almost imagine them happening at the same time, which could be kind of like it could take away a little bit from the PS5 thing, because you're like, hey, you're going to get a PS5 edition, but at the same time, it's also coming on Xbox, it's also coming on PC. So right now, again, it's only on PlayStation, but I think probably around the same time that they announce the PS5 version, they'll say, okay, it's also coming on all Xbox systems, and it's also coming on the PC, okay? And I'm really excited for it, honestly. You know, I've been talking about, and I actually made videos over the last couple days about Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last was Part 2, and I talked about, you know, could they get PS5 editions? Could they get the PS5 free upgrades, right? And I was very passionate about those, and those were kind of predictions that I had for both those games the day they came out. In fact, I made videos that, like, the day after those games came out, and I said, like, here's my prediction. I think we're going to get a PS5 version. Now, I thought it would be closer to launch, like when the PS5 launched, and obviously it's not, and we still don't know if we're going to actually get it. But one game I never really considered, which really was, you know, I think Sony had quite a few games that released in 2020 that were exclusive, but maybe the trifecta, the third one, right, was Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it was my game of the year. Final Fantasy VII Remake was my game of the year last year. It was phenomenal. I mean, I could just gush about it forever, but that was a really, really big game for them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it came out in April, where in my mind it's like, okay, well, that's too far away from when the PS5 came out, so it can't possibly get a PS5 upgrade. But I mean, that game visually is just on a different level. The game, I mean, like everything about the game, I think is on a different level, but visually specifically, and how it runs, I mean, it runs really, really well. So to give us a PS5 version of it, so what does that mean? Well, I think, now they don't say in the leak, but I would imagine, or at least I would hope, that it would be a free upgrade. At the same time, maybe I should cut myself off there, because there have been rumors, and in fact, we can even connect the recent trademark. So remember, there's also a separate news story that Square Enix a while ago, like last year, had trademarked a couple different names in regards to Final Fantasy VII, okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're only now finding them. We're only seeing them now, and you know, they could be DLC, they could be future spin-off games. Maybe we get like 7 Part 2, 7 Part 3, but we also get spin-off games entirely for Final Fantasy, so that could be the path. Or maybe we get very small DLC little things in which case we could be looking at like a Game of the Year edition. So we haven't had this too often yet, because it just started, right? The next gen just started, but you know, we've had like the free upgrades where you get the free upgrade. Control had like the deluxe edition, right? It came with like the expansion pass and stuff like that. We've had it like a couple times, but in reality, a situation like Final Fantasy, we haven't necessarily had all that often. Where you're where am I leading? Well, you're probably going to upset some people that maybe just want the next gen version. See, if you do the free upgrade, you're probably not going to have anything included in it. It's just going to be a PS5 and Xbox Series, and they'll probably do it with Xbox. They'll say, okay, if you buy it on Xbox One and then you upgrade to Series X or Series S, you'll get the free upgrade, right? So like they'll probably say that, they'll probably do that if they go that path, right? And again, that would just be enhanced visuals, improved, like obviously like the optics of it would be improved, and that would just be the free upgrade. But they could go a different direction. That's going right. They could go left and say, no, you know what? It's a Game of the Year edition. The game was big enough last year. The game was well received enough last year. They could easily say, okay, not just is it like an upgrade, a next generation kind of thing, but it's a Game of the Year edition. We're going to have cut content, we're gonna have DLC, we're gonna have different skin, whatever they decide on doing, right? But they're gonna make you pay for it, so it's not gonna be free. Now then it goes into like, well, could we pay like $10, $20? But in all reality, again, like that's where it kind of becomes annoying in a way where it's new, because we're kind of used now to getting the next gen version for free. But I mean, if you look in the past, I mean, if you bought the game and then the Game of the Year edition comes out a year later with like a bunch of new stuff, you have to pay for it. You're not just gonna receive it just because you had the original game. And you know, I kind of get that. At the same time, maybe they could work something out one day where it's like, hey, if you were a supporter of them early on, maybe it's like a discounted price, but then like, how would they track you? How would they know that you bought the game? So there's paths. I really do think there's different ways they can go. And then remember, he mentions next month is Final Fantasy XIV's expansion, and then shortly after will be these other two things. And then he says he's not 100% sure they'll both land in February, Life is Strange 3 and this, which by the way, I have some things with Life is Strange 3 that I'm not sure about what he's talking about, which I'll again discuss in the other video. But so that's really good. I mean, look, news is coming too fast. You guys may know me as a news channel. I'm freaking out. I got a list of, no joke, like 11 news stories I'm trying to cover over these next couple days. I'm probably going to put some of them together because they just won't stop. Indiana Jones game. I mean, please, for the love of God, calm down. The gaming industry is going wild all of a sudden after like 3 weeks, which actually, you know what? I predicted this. I would like to just say, I know this has nothing to do with Final Fantasy, but I would like to just say Alex was right, because I did say that we were going to go through 2 to 3 weeks of just no news, which we did, and then this week we would really get hit, and guess what happened? It's just not stopping this week. So no, I'm very excited for Final Fantasy. If it's a free upgrade, I fully intend on maybe playing it a little. I mean, I played it. A game like this, to me, and I know some people would definitely go back in, and I completely understand that. Someone like me, I have very hard times beating these kind of games. I don't know if I would jump back in to it, just because the way I play games. If it's a free upgrade, I'd like to see how it plays on the next gen, but I probably wouldn't like play through it again. Now, if it's a game and it's got new content, like additional stuff to it, I feel like I'd have to play it. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll see how it is, but then I have to pay for it too. So and money is kind of tight after the holidays, right? So let me know, guys. What do you think? Do you think that it's gonna come with a? Do you think it's gonna be a free upgrade? Do you think it's gonna be like a Game of the Year edition? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up, and I do a brand new video every single day. And so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.